Every morning at 7, Thomas sat on the weathered wooden bench by the lake, clutching a lukewarm coffee in a paper cup. The bench faced the water, still and silver in the morning light, just as it had for the past 3 silent, aching years. At 82, Thomas shuffled slowly, bones ached cold, and his hands trembled slightly as he sipped. The people who jogged past him might occasionally nod politely. Loneliness had crept in quietly after Margaret died. 48 years of marriage ended not with a big bang, but a soft exhale as she slipped away in her peace. Since then, the silence had taken on a gloomy shape. It curled quietly into the empty chairs at breakfast time. It quietly filled the silence between the fading echoes of television shows. It lay beside him at night, cold and unbreathing. They used to walk around this lake. She'd wear that blue scarf he liked, and they'd talk about everything and nothing. He still remembered the way her laughter echoed across the water, felt like music. Now, he spoke to no one. Days passed in silence, except for the hum of the fridge and the occasional call from his daughter. Even those calls were brief, well-meaning, but hurried. She was busy. Stared at the lake. A small voice interrupted him. The voice asked, "Do ducks sleep on the water?" "Yes, sometimes they tuck their heads under their wings," he replied. She simply nodded and climbed onto the bench beside him, without asking. The girl said, "I'm Lily." Thomas replied, "I'm Thomas." From that day on, Lily joined him whenever her mother ran. At first, he only smiled and nodded. Then he began to speak more. She showed her drawings to Thomas and requested his feedback. He told her about birds and stars and silly things Margaret used to say. The bench, once a place of quiet mourning, became something else. Felt less like a shrine and more like a welcoming porch. Over time, other joggers began to wave. Lily's mother stopped to chat. Thomas's daughter stayed on the phone longer, sensing something had changed. One morning, Lily arrived with 2 paper cups and a smile. Lily said, "Coffee for you, hot chocolate for me," with a smile. Thomas took it, his eyes misting with unspoken gratitude. "You looked very lonely that first day," Lily said sadly. Thomas replied, smiling, "I was, but I'm not anymore." Sat in silence, warm cups in hand, watching the ducks across the water, ripples trailing behind like gentle whispers. The sun peeked over the treetops, gilding the lake in soft gold. And for the first time in years, Thomas felt seen, not as an old man on a bench, but as someone who truly and deeply mattered now. Loneliness, he realized, isn't always about being alone. Sometimes it's about not being noticed. And sometimes, all it takes to break it is a child with a question no one expected. And the courage to sit beside you when silence feels very loud.